Imagine that it is the winter of 2026. You are walking down a high street in a major city. Half of the storefronts are boarded up, their glass covered in dust and to let signs that have faded in the sun. The coffee shop you used to visit is now charging $7 for a latte, and the queue at the food bank around the corner wraps around the block. This is not a scene from a science fiction movie. This is the statistical trajectory of two of the wealthiest regions on Earth. We are witnessing a heavyweight fight between the United Kingdom and the European Union. But this is not a fight for dominance, it is a fight for survival. For the last 5 years, the media has played a game of pick a side. They tell you that Britain is the sick man of Europe because of Brexit. Or they tell you that the Eurozone is a dying museum being crushed by bureaucracy. But today, we are going to do something that the mainstream news outlets refuse to do. We are going to ignore the politics and look exclusively at the mathematics. We are going to compare these two giants across 7 rounds of economic warfare. From the cost of heating your home to the likelihood of your job disappearing to China. By the end of this video, you will have a definitive answer to the question nobody wants to ask. Who is actually doing worse? Buckle up. This is going to be a brutal reality check. Round 1. The cost of existence. Let us begin with the money in your pocket. If you're living in the United Kingdom, you have likely felt like you are suffocating under a blanket of rising prices since 2022. You are told that inflation is coming down, yet every time you go to the supermarket, the total at the checkout seems to creep higher. The data supports your anxiety. By late 2025, the United Kingdom saw inflation ticking back up toward 4%. This is what economists call sticky inflation. It is stubborn. It refuses to leave. The price of services in Britain, everything from your haircut to your car insurance, has skyrocketed. Now, let us look across the English Channel. In the Eurozone, the headline inflation numbers look much better on paper. They are hovering closer to 2%. If you just looked at a spreadsheet, you would say the European Union wins this round. But you cannot eat a spreadsheet. The problem in Europe is not the price of the bread. It is the size of the paycheck. In Germany and France, real wages have suffered a catastrophic stagnation. While the British worker has seen nominal wage increases of 5 or 6%, the European worker is trapped in a system that is terrified of wage inflation. So here's the choice. In the United Kingdom, you have more pounds in your bank account, but each pound buys you significantly less. In the European Union, prices are stable, but your income has not moved in 5 years while your rent has doubled. This brings us to the discomfort index. This is a metric that combines unemployment and inflation. In the United Kingdom, the pain is sharp and acute. It feels like a panic attack. You are constantly worried about the next bill. In Europe, the pain is chronic. It is a dull ache of slowly becoming poorer year after year. However, the United Kingdom takes the loss in this round for one specific reason: energy. The British energy market is uniquely broken because the United Kingdom relies so heavily on gas for heating and electricity, and because it has almost no storage capacity, British households are paying a premium that their French and Spanish counterparts are not. In France, nuclear power keeps the lights on for cheap. In the United Kingdom, you're paying the global market rate for every second your heater is running. Round 2. The industrial graveyard. If the cost of living is about consumption, this next round is about production. This is where we see the most shocking reversal of fortunes in modern economic history. For decades, Germany was the engine of Europe. It was a manufacturing titan. The deal was simple. Germany makes high-quality cars and machinery, and the rest of the world buys them. The United Kingdom, on the other hand, was seen as a post-industrial service economy that did not make anything anymore. In 2026, the German engine has not just stalled, it has exploded. Germany is currently undergoing a process called deindustrialization. This is not a cyclical downturn. This is a permanent destruction of capacity. Energy-intensive industries like chemicals, steel, and glass are shutting down their German factories and moving them to the United States or China. Why is this happening? Because the German business model was based on 2 things that no longer exist: cheap energy from Russia and insatiable demand from China. With the Russian pipelines closed and China now making its own electric vehicles, Germany has nothing left to sell and no cheap way to make it. Industrial production in Germany has collapsed to levels we have not seen since the 2008 financial crisis, and it is not coming back. Now, look at the United Kingdom. You would expect British manufacturing to be dead after leaving the single market. And it is true, British exports of goods have struggled. But the United Kingdom economy is not built on factories. It is built on services. The United Kingdom is the second largest exporter of services in the world, behind only the United States. We are talking about finance, law, consulting, architecture, and technology. These are industries that do not require massive amounts of natural gas. They require brains and computers. While the German factory worker is being laid off because his factory cannot afford the electricity bill, the British service economy has shown remarkable resilience. The International Monetary Fund recently upgraded the growth forecast for the United Kingdom, while downgrading Germany to zero growth. The verdict on industry is clear. The European Union is doing worse. The collapse of the German manufacturing base is an existential threat to the entire Eurozone. The United Kingdom completed its painful transition away from manufacturing in the 1980s. Germany is going through that pain right now, and they are not ready for it. Round 3, the housing catastrophe. We have talked about jobs and bills. Now let us talk about the roof over your head. This is where the competition becomes a race to the bottom. In the United Kingdom, the housing market is a national tragedy. It is a simple equation of supply and demand. The population is growing by hundreds of thousands every year, but the country effectively stopped building houses 30 years ago. The result is a rental market that resembles a gladiator arena. In London, Manchester, and Bristol, it is normal to see 50 people queuing to view a moldy one-bedroom apartment that costs $2,000 a month. Mortgage rates have tripled, meaning that landlords are passing those costs directly to the tenants. However, if you think the grass is greener in Europe, you are mistaken. The housing crisis in the European Union has morphed into a construction crisis. In Germany, residential construction permits have plummeted by nearly 30%. Major property developers are filing for insolvency. Why? Because the European Central Bank raised interest rates to fight inflation, and that made construction projects unprofitable. So you have a situation in Berlin, Amsterdam, and Dublin where there is physically no new supply coming to the market. In Dublin, the situation is a humanitarian emergency. You have software engineers earning 6 figures who are living in vans because there are 0 apartments available to rent. There is also a difference in quality. The United Kingdom has the oldest and least energy-efficient housing stock in Europe. It is damp, it is drafty, and it leaks heat. In contrast, European housing is generally better built. But who is doing worse? It is a tie, but it is a miserable tie. In the United Kingdom, you can find a place to live, but it will bankrupt you and give you asthma. In the major cities of the European Union, the market is so frozen that you simply cannot find a place to live at all. Round 4, the demographic time bomb. Now we must zoom out and look at the long term. Economics is ultimately just people doing things. If you run out of people, you run out of economy. This is where the European Union is facing a nightmare scenario. Southern Europe is effectively dying. Italy has a fertility rate of just 1.1. They are losing the equivalent of a large city every single year. The average age in Italy and Germany is creeping toward 50. What does this mean for you? It means that a shrinking workforce has to pay for a growing army of retirees. It means taxes on workers must go up, or pensions for the old must be cut. There is no third option. Germany is desperate. They need 400,000 skilled immigrants every year just to keep the lights on. But they are failing to attract them. The language barrier is high, the taxes are punishing, and the bureaucracy is legendary. The United Kingdom faces a different problem. The population is growing rapidly. Net migration figures have remained at historic highs. While this causes massive social friction and strain on infrastructure, from a purely economic standpoint, it is a lifeline. A growing population creates demand, it fills jobs, it generates tax revenue. The United Kingdom has a younger demographic profile than Germany or Italy. The verdict on demographics is stark. The European Union is doing significantly worse. They are trapped in a demographic death spiral that is mathematically impossible to escape without a total transformation of their societies. The United Kingdom has growing pains. The European Union has dying pains. Round 5, the health of the nation. If the economy is the body, the healthcare system is the immune system. And here, the stories diverge dramatically. In the United Kingdom, the National Health Service is collapsing in real time. It is a national religion that has lost its way. We are seeing waiting lists of over 7 million people. If you need a hip replacement, you might wait 2 years. If you call an ambulance, it might not come for hours. The United Kingdom has effectively developed a 2-tier health system. If you have money, you go private. If you do not, you wait and suffer. The productivity of the entire nation is being dragged down because millions of people are too sick to work and cannot get treatment. In contrast, the European social insurance model is still functioning. In France and Germany, if you need a specialist, you will get one. The quality of care is generally higher and the outcomes are better. However, this comes at a massive cost. In Germany, Social Security contributions are rising to record levels to pay for this care. You are paying for a premium service with a mandatory deduction from your paycheck that feels like a second mortgage. So, who is doing worse? The United Kingdom takes the loss here. A functioning healthcare system is the bedrock of a civilized society. The fact that you cannot rely on an ambulance in Britain creates a level of psychological stress that does not exist in Munich or Paris. The European system is expensive, but it works. The British system is free, but it is broken. Round 6, the brain drain. This is the round that determines the future. Where are the smartest, most ambitious young people going? If you are a 25-year-old artificial intelligence researcher, or a top-tier surgeon, or a financial wizard, you are looking at both the United Kingdom and the European Union with skepticism. The gap between European and American wealth has become a canyon. A senior software developer in London or Berlin might earn $80,000. In New York or Austin, that same person earns $180,000 with lower taxes. Both regions are suffering from a massive brain drain to the United States. Europe is becoming a museum where rich Americans go on vacation, while the actual innovation happens in California. However, within the European context, the United Kingdom has a secret weapon, the English language and the City of London. Despite Brexit, London remains the financial capital of Europe. It is the only city in the time zone that competes with New York. The United Kingdom is also far better at attracting talent from India, Nigeria, and Southeast Asia. The global elite still send their children to British universities. The European Union struggles to attract high-end talent from outside the bloc because of the language barriers. If you move to Frankfurt, you must learn German. If you move to London, you already speak the language. The verdict on brain drain? Both are losing to America, but the United Kingdom is losing slower than the European Union. The ability to integrate global talent gives Britain a dynamism that the stagnant economies of the continent simply cannot match. Round 7. The debt trap. Finally, we must talk about the hidden danger, the debt. For years, we were told that the United Kingdom was reckless and the European Union was fiscally responsible. That narrative is dead. France has a budget deficit that is spiraling out of control. They have been downgraded by credit rating agencies. The Italian debt mountain is so large that it threatens to collapse the common currency every time interest rates tick up. The European Central Bank is trapped. They need to keep interest rates high to fight inflation in the north, but they need to keep interest rates low to stop Italy and France from going bankrupt in the south. It is an impossible balancing act. The United Kingdom has ugly debt numbers too. The national debt is 100% of GDP, but the United Kingdom has one crucial advantage. It controls its own currency. The Bank of England can, in a worst-case scenario, print money to pay its debts. It causes inflation, but it avoids default. Italy and France do not have that luxury. They use a currency they do not control. This means the risk of a sovereign debt crisis is always lurking in the background of the Eurozone. The verdict on debt? The European Union is in a more dangerous position. The structural flaws of the euro, having a single currency for different economies without a fiscal union, are beginning to crack under the pressure. The grand verdict. So who is actually doing worse? If we look at the immediate experience of daily life, the United Kingdom feels worse. The cost of energy is higher, the housing stock is poorer, and the public services are crumbling visibly. It feels like a country held together by duct tape. It is an acute, sharp pain. But if we look at the structural future, the European Union is in deeper trouble. Germany is undergoing an industrial collapse with no plan B. Southern Europe is facing a demographic winter that will bankrupt their pension systems. The political instability in France and Germany is threatening the very existence of the European project. The United Kingdom is a flexible, chaotic, service-based economy that is messy but adaptable. It has a growing population and a connection to the global economy that goes beyond Europe. The European Union is a rigid industrial economy that was optimized for a world that no longer exists. It is the difference between a man with a broken leg and a man with a chronic degenerative disease. The man with the broken leg, the United Kingdom, is in more pain right now. He is screaming, but the bone will heal. The man with the degenerative disease, the European Union, might feel okay today, but his long-term prognosis is terminal. But that is just what the data says. The reality is what you see when you walk out your front door. I want to hear from you. Are you a Brit who moved to Berlin and regrets it? Are you a German looking at your energy bill and thinking about moving to London? Or are you watching this from America, laughing at all of us? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to survive the economic winter that is coming, you need to stay informed. Hit that subscribe button so the algorithm feeds you the truth, and like this video to help us cut through the noise. Good luck out there. You are going to need it.